There is now no question that Donald Trump will go down as the worst president in American history. The storming of the U.S. Capitol by right-wing rioters is a monument to his misrule. This was an attempted coup, encouraged by the President of the United States, designed to stop the peaceful transfer of power. And while the heart of our legislative branch was being trashed, a source tells CNN Trump resisted calling in the National Guard. Donald Trump's legacy is American carnage. Our country is far more divided, violent, and deranged than before he entered office. But this is what happens when hyper-partisans indulge lies, corruptions, and conspiracy theories for political gain. They can't say they didn't see this coming. Trump's rhetoric already led to death threats against honest election officials across the country. And the 138 Republican House members and 7 senators, including Ted Cruz and Josh Hawley, are also culpable for this violence because they stoked its fears without any facts. So is Trump's attorney, Rudy Giuliani, who demanded trial by combat at Wednesday morning's rally. And now we are all reaping what they've sown, as Trump watches it all burn on TV from within the White House. But then there are some men who want to ruin if they cannot rule. No hostile foreign power has done more damage to what President-elect Biden called the Citadel of Liberty since an invading British army burned it down in the War of 1812. And there's no question that the enemies of democracy are cheering the actions yesterday. It is a stunning but not surprising to see some self-styled constitutional conservatives who yelled about mob violence default to rationalizing this violence through a flurry of whataboutism. Folks who proclaimed facts don't care about your feelings suddenly seem to care a lot about the feelings of certain people who commit political violence. And that's usually a definition of terrorism. But these attackers were not contained or confronted or even arrested in large numbers. If they'd been black or left-wing or Muslim, the calls for violent retribution by the president and his allies would have been deafening. Instead, the mask has come off. The calls for law and order were really about race. The calls for respecting democratic traditions apparently only mattered when elections were won by Republicans. Now, there will need to be accountability. For the president, there are calls for his impeachment and reportedly discussions about the 25th Amendment. And there is certainly cause, but probably not time, though censure remains an option. But his legal problems will just be beginning on January 20th, and Twitter should deplatform him permanently. For the rioters, there needs to be arrests and prosecutions and an investigation into how they were able to storm our Capitol. And for those who voted to contest the election results even after the attack, they should not be forgiven, but targeted for political defeat. We will overcome this assault on our democracy, but only if we confront the cult of Trump and those who have enabled it by resolving to learn the right lessons. That democracy's guardrails need to be strengthened. That character counts above all in a president. And that hate and lies can never be channeled in a constructive direction. And that's your reality check.